to talk about en croute, specifically pate en croute. En croute pans are pans designed to hold force meats that are baked in a crust, hence en croute. And these are the hinged en croute pans. See how they open up? And that's because, unlike terrines, when you unmold terrines, usually the bottom becomes the top. With en croutes, you don't want to unmold and have the bottom become the top, because then you would ruin the crust of your pastry. So after it's cooked and cooled and set up, it's unhinged and open for easy removal. So the first step you want to do before you do your pate, or have a team member start the pate and then someone else can start the dough, is you want to roll your dough out to about 1/8 to 1/4 of an inch in a long rectangle, and you're going to take your en croute pan and lay it on top. And I usually have plastic film on top of dough when I roll it. That way I'm not adding any excess flour. So I will take my pan and I'll lay it on with the plastic and then move the plastic off. But for this purpose, just to show you, you're going to lay it down to kind of get an imprint in the dough. You want to have about 1/2 of an inch overhang, and that will give you enough dough to put inside, go down to the bottom, and also hang over the edge a little bit. So you make the imprint, and you can then cut. This one I'm going to cut a little bit longer right there, right here. This one with the pan. Too much dough, you can always remove it, but if you don't have too much to start with, it just makes it easier to work with. You want to have enough dough that will allow you to crimp and close in any gaps and creases without having so much dough that it makes the finished product just too doughy, or all the dough won't cook properly because it's too thick. So you would remove all these excess pieces. Then you're going to actually cut your strips that you need, 2 sides and the bottom and the 2 ends. Save your excess pieces. You can further roll it out to make the top, or you can use it for decorative pieces. And I also want to let you know that you need to work between refrigerator and rolling out and cutting. What I normally do is I get my pieces all cut, and then I'll chill it before I assemble. Now to assemble, you're going to take your en croute pan, bring the edges up, and then bring both sides. Do this before you close the hinges. Get them so they're all matched up on the inside, and then you can close your hinges, like so. Now if it feels like it's a little loose, very often I'll take twine and tie it to tighten it to ensure that it won't open during the cooking process. So once you have your chilled dough, you're going to lay it into your en croute pan. And you want to make sure that it is flush with the edges, the bottoms, the corners, so you don't have any air gaps. Again, when it's chilled, it's so much easier to work with. So you can go in between placing things and crimping it and putting it in the refrigerator. Then you're going to follow with your sides. So what you're going to have is this right here with the overhang. Okay? Now I've also lined this with a little bit of ham. You can use prosciutto. Usually it's something cooked. I wouldn't use raw bacon because there's too much grease and fat. Serrano ham, prosciutto is nice. This is just sliced cooked ham. It gives an added layer of protection to prevent the crust from getting soggy, and it also enhances the presentation and the texture. The pate that we're going to be using, again, a pate is a forcemeat. Usually there's liver. Liver is a predominant ingredient in pate. This is chicken liver that's been sauteed, and it's also got ground cooked Italian sausage. So this pate is actually a gratin style because ingredients have been browned, and it's also country style because the texture is coarse. So once we've lined our en croute pan with our pastry and our ham, we're going to put our pate in. Now this is a cooked product, as you can see. And we're going to completely dry heat cook it because we don't want it to be moist. We want the crust to brown and to be nice. So cooking time varies depending on the ingredients. Basically, you're heating the ingredients, you're setting them up further, and you're browning the pastry. So I'm going to fill it to not quite the very top. I want a little bit of a gap because after it's baked, we're going to pour a beef gelatin in there, if you will, a glace de viande or beef stock thickened with gelatin. And then when it sets up, it'll have a nice aspic layer in between the top of the pastry crust and the top of the forcemeat. Then I'm going to take the ham and fold it in, just like we did with the vegetable terrine. As you can see, I have no parchment on this. It's not necessary. Since it's a hinged tray, it very easily, you can take a knife and go around the outside, but it unmolds pretty easily. Now, if you have a lot of pastry there, because we don't want too much, I'm going to cut off a little bit of this. And on the end too. Then we're going to get ready to put our cap on. At this point, you may want to do a little bit of egg wash around there to help seal the cap. It will help prevent, when you do pour the aspic in, it will help prevent the aspic from coming out. Now for the cap, another pastry, and I measured the top of the pan to cut out the strip the size I needed. Then we have to make our vents. Vents, you need 2 different size ring cutters. Okay? You can use a decorative or just a straight edge. And this is the actual cap. So we have to cut 2 vents out of the top and then remove those to have those holes. Then we're going to take the larger and make a donut between the larger and the smaller. Then it's good to egg wash because it's going to act as a glue, plus it's going to give it a nice browning. So we can apply our rings. This is called the chimney. This allows steam to escape. It helps, with the steam escaping, it helps the pate kind of settle a little bit to give that space that you want. Then you can use decorative, you can make decorative cutouts, whatever you want to make, with your excess dough. Now we're going to apply our cap. Again, I think it's critical to have chilled, so I would recommend that you get this done, have it nice and cold. It will certainly lift off of the sheet pan or your plastic much easier. Place that on top. You want to crimp it a bit to close it so you have no openings. Then you can apply a little bit more decoration if you want. We're going to put this on a sheet pan. We're going to put it in a 350-degree oven, and we're going to bake it for anywhere between, I'd say, 35 to 55 minutes, depending on the size of the en croute pan. Some are longer than others. And then the next video, I'll show you how to do the gelatin and slice and serve. Thanks.